Direct and inverse variation come up on harder questions in the SAT. So if you're going for the hards, you'll definitely want to know this. But it's pretty easy once you memorize it and you know the difference between the two. So something is directly proportional or varies directly. And that's usually when one thing goes up, the other thing goes up as well. Or when one thing goes down, another quantity goes down as well. There's a direct proportionality to them. And this is actually no different from a proportion. So when we looked at proportions before, those are things that are directly proportional to each other. So the way to represent this is some quantity x1 divided by some other quantity y1 is equal to x2 divided by y2. So as we change x1 to x2, y2 is going to have to change and keep this proportion, keep the ratio between the two constant. Sometimes you'll see this like in physics, y equals kx, or some ratio, for instance, x over y is some constant k. That's more the physical way of understanding it, but that might be a little bit better for you. Let's see an example of how we would use this. So A is directly proportional to B. If A is 10 when B is 2, what does A equal when B is 6? Well, let's go ahead and set up the proportion. So A is 10, and since we're directly proportional, we're going to make it over 2. So A is 10, B is 2. So what does A equal when B is 6? Now we just cross multiply, we get 60 equals 2A, or A is 30, right? So just the basic straightforward proportion. Inversely proportional has to do with, again, proportions, or varies inversely, but it's a different kind of proportion, and it takes this form. Instead of dividing the terms, we actually multiply them out. So x1 times y1 is going to equal some x2 times y2. So as we increase x1, y1 will have to decrease to account for that, to keep these the same. Sometimes in physics you'll see something like xy equals k, so the multiplication of the two terms equals a constant. Again, not really super important for this. Just remember this equation and this equation. Let's do an example of inversely proportional. When x equals 12, y equals 10. If x varies inversely with y, what does y equal when x is 30? Well, let's set it up. Now, you don't want to do 12 over 10 because that's directly. We want to do inversely or indirectly proportional. So x1 is 12 times y1 is 10. What does y equal when x is 30? So x is 30, and we're looking for y. So there's our setup. You can imagine this is y2. And what do we get? Well, we get 120 equals 30 y2. So we get y2 is 4. And that would be the answer to that question. And there'll be, obviously, examples in SAT Math Tactics of these questions.